Alright, hello and welcome back to StormShannon.com. In this video, this is the second video in the mobilization series. So, if you haven't watched the first one is about ankle mobility. Go back and watch that one first. That one's very important. The second one we're going to start working on is the upper back. This is usually the next one that I find is most commonly restricted. And that's the order I'm going in. So, typically, when I watch people move and I dissect their movement, I look at them from the ground up, and I would work from the ground up to mobilize things. In this series, I'm working more towards the most common. So the most common is definitely ankle tension. The second most common is the thoracic spine or the upper back. So that's what this video is. The next most common is hip restrictions. So that'll be the third video. So, but in this video, we're talking about that upper back, that upper T-spine. So, what we want in this video is really talk about the difference between the upper and the lower thoracic spine. So what we tend to see in most people with their postures is when they sit up straight, what they actually do is they hyperextend through their lower thoracics. So they actually push their rib cage up to get that extension because they're missing extension in the upper back between the shoulder blades. So, if you're one of those that when you try to stand up tall, you can feel your rib cage rising, then you're probably, doing all of your hyperextension from that mid back, and that upper back is very locked up. That's why that mid back is also a very common place where we tend to see pain. So, what we need to do is we want to take pressure off of that by mobilizing that upper thoracic spine. And the best way to do that is using a foam roller. So what we're going to do is we're first going to release the common muscles that are tight, that are pulling you into that bad posture, and then we're going to talk about the mobilization for that upper back. So the first muscle group we want to attack is the lats. So the lats attach from the shoulder all the way down, and they actually wrap through to the underside, and they cause internal rotation of the shoulder, which is why it dumps those shoulders forward. And it's very commonly tight in this situation. So to roll that, I'm going to take my nice little roller, and I'm going to get it on, at a 45-degree angle, putting pressure right through that lat, and I'm simply going to roll up and down through there, finding the sticking points. And there's a good trigger point there, and I can hold pressure into that until it breaks up and releases, and just hold for a good 30 seconds, 60 seconds until you feel that release, and then you can start rolling again. Find another good spot, boom, hold that tension again, and keep working your way around. So do that on both sides to release that tension, open those shoulder joints up. Then we want to go after the next most common, which is the pec minor. So for the pec, I actually like utilizing a lacrosse ball the best. It seems to work better than the foam roller or any of the other tools to get in and really free that up. Typically I would do this up against the wall, but I'll show you on the floor for now. Same concept. I want to find, in this case, the pec where it's the tightest is usually the outer pec, known as the pec minor. That's the part that rolls the shoulder forward. So I want to start at the front of the shoulder and work my way down that outside part of that pec, looking for any tenderness or tension. I should be able, if the pec is nice and relaxed, when I lean into it, there shouldn't be much restriction. It should just kind of sink into the tissue. If I find spots where it feels like it's really bound up, then I want to get in there, and I'm just going to roll back and forth, break that tissue up. I can also find a spot that's real tender and hold pressure into it till I feel that start to release, and then I can roll back and forth once again to open it up the rest of the way. And that works really well for breaking up the pec. So once we've done that on both sides, then we can get in and we can do the mobilization for that upper thoracic spine. So what I'm going to do is utilize that foam roller once again. I want it perpendicular to my spine. I'm going to start right between my shoulder blades and work my way up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll down, make sure I don't roll off the camera here. what I'm going to do first is I'm going to simply put hands behind my head. What I want to do is I want to keep my hips on the floor and I want to keep my rib cage down. If I let my rib cage come up, then I'm just hyperextending through that mid back once again instead of extending through that upper back. So I want to make sure I engage my abs, keep my rib cage down, and then I'm simply going to do like a reverse crunch, like I'm trying to extend back over the foam roller. And it's not a whole lot of movement in here. But what you'll find is as you roll up and down, you can kind of search through there. You'll find certain spots that are a lot more tender than others. And you want to really kind of work in there, or other spots that don't move as well as others. And really want to get in there and open those tissues up. You'll also find in certain spots as you do this and it loosens up, you'll actually give it to cavitate or pop, and that is fine. That is, getting that joint to start moving and freeing up. As long as it doesn't cause any, severe pain when it pops, then there's no issues with it whatsoever. It's what we want. We want those joints moving. So that's the T-spine mobilization. Make sure you first release the lats, the pecs, then do the mobilization. Make sure to keep that rib cage down. Make sure you're extending through that upper back right onto that foam roller to get that motion back. And that's it for the T-spine mobilization. Look for the next video, which is on the hip restrictions and hip mobility stuff. Till then.